Well, hello everybody. I want to welcome you to English 1020 Comp 2. And I know what you're thinking right about now. Blah, blah, blah. Ick. Syllabus. How boring. I hate it. But I hope that you will bear with me and actually listen to this video in its entirety, because this information is important for you to understand the class and how it's going to work. And also note that you can follow along with me by going to our Brightspace course page. And obviously you're already there, or you wouldn't be able to actually be watching this video to begin with. Duh. And clicking on content up at the top of your course page, and then looking at the left-hand sidebar, and you'll see their table of contents, and right under that you'll see the course syllabus. So you can click on that and actually follow along with me. So let me introduce myself to you, tell you a little bit about me. My name is Patty Ireland, so think of Leprechaun Shamrocks and Lucky Charms cereal, and you'll remember my name. And I've got the red hair to go along with it. So you got the whole package there. However, most students call me Professor I. That's kind of a tradition that started some years ago, and it just sort of stuck, and I'm very comfortable with it. You see my email address there, paireland@pstcc.edu. That's the best, quickest way to get in touch with me. My office is at the Straw Plains campus, 2709. If you pop into my office, please wear a mask for your protection, mine, and the protection of our loved ones with the Delta variant happening right now. You see my office phone there. However, I'm not holding in-person office hours due to precautions with the variant. So if you want to communicate with me in a private conference, let me know via email, and we'll arrange to do so through Microsoft Teams, which is available to you for free as a Pellissippi student. Note too that I'm teaching 2 back-to-back classes on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 8:30 to 10:35. So I'm not available, obviously, during the mornings, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, for email or conferencing during those times. And that's just FYI. So to tell you a little bit about me, I'm from a little town called Eastridge. And I doubt you ever heard of it. If you did, I'm so sorry. I will be in prayer for you. So in Eastridge, we have the Purdy Do Hair Salon. I do not recommend going to the Purdy Do, because the do that you receive will probably not be very pretty when you come out. We have the Party Mart, and if you stop by the Party Mart, you can buy your National Enquirer, you can get your beer, all the essentials for life in East Ridge you can get at the Party Mart. They've got a sign out front that says, "Start where pleasure starts, Party Mart." And then we have a museum. I'm told that's a recent addition. I have not been there. I have no idea what is in it, since we never did anything of importance that I know of in East Ridge. But I'll be sharing some stories about my little hometown that are silly, and that just sort of make all this not quite so monotonous, hopefully, for you. When I have a normal on-ground class, before I call the roll on the first day, I usually talk about names a little bit. And we have on our rosters the more formal names. So, sometimes I have students that just absolutely hate that, and they'll say, "Don't call me Theodore, just call me Theo," or something like that. So I always tell a silly little story about names on that first day, and I'll share it with you real quick. When I was at Eastridge Junior High, and that lets you know how old I am. We didn't call it middle school back in the days when Lincoln was president. I went to school with an unfortunate young lady, and her last name was O'Rear, O''R''E''A''R. And her parents, in their great wisdom, named her Fanny O'Rear. So you can imagine all the taunting that this girl had to go through. And on top of that, she was just weird. Now, I was weird too, not as weird as Fanny, but Yeah, she was weird. She wanted to embalm people when she graduated. This was her dream. She would sit in class and draw pictures of coffins, and she dressed in all black. And she was just very weird. I was also weird. I was a klutz. I remain a klutz. We were the last two people chosen to be on anyone's team in gym. And Fanny had big, thick bifocal glasses, so she literally just couldn't see to hit the ball or throw the ball or anything. I didn't have that excuse. I was just a klutz, right? So this is how we kind of came to know each other. But I'll share some stories, some more stories about Fanny. And just the takeaway here is if you hate your name, it could be worse. Your name could be Fanny O'Rear. So this class is, as you know, online, asynchronous. That means all the assignments and the information is conveyed to you through our Brightspace, also called D2L course pages. And by the way, I just recently learned D2L stands for Desire to Learn. Who knew, right? I just learned that. So this class will not meet virtually in real time ever, but rather you'll take part in weekly activities like the discussion board postings, etc., through Brightspace, and you'll turn in all your assignments there as well. So I want to welcome you to 1020. This is a class that builds on the ideas you learned in 1010 while encouraging you to think even more deeply about the art of interpreting great works of fiction and poetry. I know that kind of strikes fear in your heart, but don't worry. And drama. And so this course centers on writing that's based on the study of literature and the study and practice of research writing again. And it serves as a prereq for any of the sophomore lit classes. It gives you a basic understanding and appreciation of literature, an understanding of the terminology that we use when we analyze literature, and it offers you further competence in doing research. It prepares you to write with a greater depth, a greater incisiveness and precision and maturity level. And most importantly, this is the most important thing, it allows you to discover, to celebrate, to tap into the power of words for the rest of your life, right? That's so important. Words have power. They are living, breathing things. And they move and change us and move and change the world. And so my hope for you is that the skills you learn here are going to help you in your real everyday life to communicate more effectively, to choose and use words more effectively, and that you'll profit from and actually enjoy this class. I don't think that class has to be a drudgery, right? I think that we can actually enjoy it. That doesn't mean we don't have to work hard. So, you see the entry-level standards there. English 1010 is the prerequisite. So if you did not pass 1010, you cannot receive credit for this class. So if you're not sure that you passed 1010 with at least a D, you need to go back and check, because if you take this class and you didn't pass 1010, you're doing all this for nothing. They won't give you credit. So make sure that you passed it. We do have some required text. But here is the good news for you. All of the readings for this class are online to save you money, right? So you're welcome. And to access those readings, you just click on Content up at the top of our course page, and then you look in the left-hand sidebar at the Readings tab to access each one of them. They're in alphabetical order. So the only required book is The Little Seagull with exercises, the 4th edition. It's strongly recommended. I mean, I say required, it's strongly recommended. There is an ebook version available. If you have the 3rd edition from 1010, because they just changed the book over the summer. Money. Because MLA changed some of its rules. Imagine that. And so if you have the old one, you're okay, because I'll give you a document that tells you about the new rules for MLA, that they have just slightly changed to make them more money off of poor students, right? I will not bore you with the TBR, which stands for Tennessee Board of Regents. That's our governing state body, Communications Learning Outcomes and Expected Student Learning Outcomes. I will let you read that all by yourself. Good times. But I will talk about the course description and the grading scale. So we've got a literary exploration going on in 1020 of 3 different genres. That's a fancy smancy word that means types or kinds of literature or whatever you're talking about, right? So we've got short fiction, right? We've got poetry, and again, don't fear, it's going to be okay, and drama. And so our primary goal is twofold. Number 1, to learn to interpret and write thoughtfully, analytically about those 3 genres. And number 2, to further study and practice research writing skills. So it's a writing intensive course, as you can imagine. And so you're expected to write essays, discussion board postings, and to continue to develop your critical thinking skills by reading and engaging with all the texts that we're going to read and with one another's writing as well. So we've got 4 units that the course is divided into, each of which corresponds with a major paper that you submit at the end of that unit. So the first one is Short Fiction, Imagining Worlds Through Words. I came up with that. I think that's pretty snazzy, actually. And so it centers on developing an understanding of the interpretation of short fiction works. So short stories. They're not true to life, right? They're fictional. And the power that they have over time to move and change us as a society, as individuals. And so we'll look at the elements and the terminology of fiction. We'll conclude with a main essay assignment that focuses on analyzing one of those short stories and unraveling deeper meanings within them. The second section is poetry, giving voice to the soul. And it'll teach you the forms, the devices, the terminology of poetry. That second paper at the end of that unit will ask you to close read and explicate, a fancy word that just means explain, a poem, in an effort to understand it more thoroughly and unravel its meanings in a compelling sort of way. The third section is drama, and it's really an interesting section. So we're going to watch a film together since this is an online class, and then write a paper that analyzes that film. And then the final section is just reading, responding, and writing to the 3 genres. So we just kind of put everything we've learned together, and it culminates in a final in-class essay. So you see how the grading scale plays out there. The bulk of the grade is made up of the major papers, which is the way English classes are structured at the college level. And as you probably already know, it's about the quality of your writing. That's what determines your grade. So it isn't enough to just turn everything in and turn it in on time. It's about the quality, right? Note that a normal class, a normal on-ground class meets for 3 hours a week. And in addition, obviously, you have that work you're completing outside of class, readings, the writing assignments, etc. This class is no different in terms of the hours you need to put in to succeed and to make a good grade. So expect to put in from 4 to 6 hours of time every week to do well in this class. That includes the time you'll spend online in the discussion boards and things like that. So speaking of major papers, note that while I do my best to turn them around quickly, it could take up to 2 weeks for grades to be posted due to the fact that I'm, excuse me, due to the fact that I am teaching 4 different classes and really 5 because 2 of them are combined into one, long story. And I do generally turn papers around, though, in about a week. Now we get to the course policies and requirements. So fun, isn't it? So we've got the disability services statement. If you need accommodations, please send me an email ASAP telling me so. And note that you need an accommodation plan on file right now this semester with our disability services office at Hardin Valley. Otherwise, I cannot, by law, offer you those accommodations, unfortunately. So make sure you have that. If you need to communicate with me, again, that PA Ireland is the best way to do so, or through Brightspace. If you do send the email to PA Ireland, make sure you do that from your PSCC email account, not from a personal email. And here is why. Often when people send us emails from their personal accounts, it goes directly to our spam folder. And sometimes we might not see it for 2 or 3 weeks. And that's because we cannot just go and access our spam folders for security reasons. Rather, we will get an email eventually that says you have some emails in your spam folder. Now you can check it. And that email that you sent might have come in 3 weeks before. So make sure you're sending it from your Pellissippi email. Also note that if you send an email late in the afternoon, I probably am not going to see it until that following morning. I do check emails once over the weekend. And I try to be prompt, but if you send it over the weekend, I may not see it until Monday morning after I'm finished teaching those classes, right? So late in the morning. So keep that in mind. And also, like you and like everyone else, I'm going to need some time to rest, to recoup, to be with my family on the weekends, to sit down and have dinner with my husband and my cat in the evenings. We work hard. We put in from 8 to 10 hours a day, in addition to a lot of the grading we do on the weekends. So we need that downtime, and I appreciate your mindfulness of that. So paper format, and you should know this from 1010. All the papers have to be typed, obviously, double-spaced. They need that standard 1-inch margin on all sides, so you don't want to do anything special to your margins. They should be typed in Times New Roman 12-point font. On the first page, your name, my name, the course name, and the date in MLA formatting should be placed in the upper left-hand corner. And on all pages, your last name and the page number should be placed in the upper right-hand corner. Please format everything according to MLA formal instructions. There's that MLA help section that I've provided for you on our course site. So if you go to content and click on MLA help, you'll see that. You'll also find, the sample paper and all the guidelines in the little seagull. There are 4 quizzes on various readings and concepts throughout the semester, and each quiz is worth 50 points or 5% of your final grade. So together, they make up 200 points or 20% of your final grade in the class. So to take a quiz, go to the quizzes section up toward the top of our course page and click on it. Note that quizzes are generally not made up in college classes at all, unless you have a legitimate reason for having missed the quiz and you have contacted me promptly to let me know the situation. It's up to you to contact me promptly about making up a quiz. So if you contact me a month later or 2 weeks later and say, oh, I missed that quiz, I need to make it up, you're probably out of luck, right? This is where looking at the weekly checklist will help you so much. And I'm going to talk about that here in just a minute. All the documents that I've created that go along with my lectures, I don't like to call them that because that sounds so boring. I call them musings instead, are found online on our course site. Again, if you click on content and look for course documents, you'll find them. There are 15 weekly discussion board postings for this class. Each board contains from 1 to 2 different topics within it. So each week's board counts for 10 points for a total of 150 points or 15% of your final grade in the course. And there's my kitty cat. She's unhappy, but she'll just have to wait. She has a Facebook page, by the way, Princess Foo Foo, 2 words, Foo Foo. If you do a search for her, you may find some interesting ladies of the evening who have that same name. So you don't want that. Maybe you do, I don't know. But she's the feline version, FYI. She got me all off track now. I hate that. So discussion board postings. A grading rubric is available for you on the discussion forums to show you how those postings are graded by me. So to achieve the points for each week's board, you need to answer the questions according to the instructions that I've posted there. and then offer one response per week to one posting. It'll tell you which one you need to respond to of a classmate. And you follow the detailed instructions there within the topic of the weekly boards to understand which topic requires the response to a classmate each week. Your initial postings for each weekly board are due by 11:59 p.m. on a Wednesday night, and then the remaining response to one classmate in the designated board is due by 11:59 p.m. on that following Sunday. So that's the way that it works. Again, note some weeks may contain 2 different topics rather than just one. So you want to make sure you've completed all 15 weekly discussion board postings. So all the topics in each week's board, along with submitting that one response to a classmate each week in the designated board to receive the full points. The weekly checklists are going to help you stay on track with that again. So I'll let you revise one major paper to receive a higher grade, and you would choose between papers 1 and 2. And you have to turn your revision in no later than 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, November 21st. No exceptions to that deadline, because by then I'm inundated with grading, and so I can't accept your revision after that. I give you instructions here for how to revise the paper exactly when we get close to November 21st, and that's a long way off at this point, but when we get close, I'll be giving you the instructions again via the weekly checklist and probably an announcement. But here's the important caveat. To be eligible to turn in a revision, you must have turned in all the previous major papers on time that have come due before the 21st of November. And the revision is your reward for having done that. So if you follow the directions and you do everything you're supposed to do, it's possible to raise your grade for that one major paper up a whole letter, which really helps you a lot. So we will hold a peer review day for paper 1, in which I will give you extensive feedback and in which you'll review the rough draft of a classmate. A pre-writing day for paper 2, and a self-review day for paper 3. And all of this is to help you to do well on the final paper. So any student who doesn't submit a rough draft or the required materials as specified on the assignment sheets will have 10 points automatically docked from his or her paper grade. So that could really hurt you. So you've got to complete the peer review, the pre-writing, and the self-review for those major papers. And the only exception to the policy is if you can provide documentation for a valid excuse, illness, death in the immediate family, God forbid, accident, emergency, etc. And rough drafts should be submitted in the assignments tab. You know, that's up at the top of the page. So you'd look for rough draft of paper 1, rough draft of paper 2, etc. You see the financial aid Hope Scholarship recipient policy there. The bottom line is dropping or withdrawing from a class can adversely affect your financial aid or lottery eligibility. So before you do that, you want to check with financial aid. And I will let you read the non-discrimination, emotional well-being support, academic dishonesty, and grade appeal policy, and syllabus statement, and COVID-19 procedure all by your lonesome self. Good luck with that. Again, just be aware, cheating is taken seriously, and it can cause you to fail this class and be reported, so don't do that. I have helpful resources for you on our Brightspace page. So here's an online tutoring help information that I'm giving you here within the syllabus. We do have Ask a Tutor again this semester, as well as tutors in person on the campuses. There's online research information from the library that you can access. And there's a lot of information that I put up for you about our Brightspace course site and within it, right, to help you. And it might seem overwhelming at first, but it should also be really helpful to you. So take a few minutes and just peruse the site. Click on different things. Get the lay of the land. But the most important thing I could say to you, if you hear nothing else I say, is go to the weekly checklist and follow them. Check off everything on each weekly checklist, right? To stay on track. So right now, if you go to content up at the top of the page and then you click on weekly checklist all the way at the bottom of the left-hand toolbar and you click on week 1 checklist, it's going to show you every blessed thing you have to do this first week to read the course syllabus. And obviously, if you followed along with me, you've reviewed it already. You're going to read ethos, logos, and pathos under content and course documents, rhetorical techniques, what is a summary and response essay, how should I organize it. You're going to watch the week 1 video, parts 1 and 2, and you're going to... I've just realized I'm looking at the wrong course. I'm looking at English 1010. Lord help us. So pay no attention to what I just said, but go to the weekly checklist under English 1020 and follow the assignments there. So you will not be reading rhetorical techniques and what is a summary and response and all of that. That's for 1010. I clicked on the wrong class. Don't do that. But follow those weekly checklists and you will stay on track. You're going to look for course documents and readings in the content section. You're going to look for the major papers, rough drafts, ideal worksheets for major papers under the assignments tab, the quizzes under the quizzes tab. You email classmates through the class list tab, and you post to the discussion boards through the discussions tab. And you'll see that I've got general information about resources for students, technology tools and support, free literature, grammar exercises, grammar support, library information, MLA help. All of that will really be helpful to you. I also have 2 discussion forums that are not graded. The 1020 Cafe, which is a discussion board forum, and you'll find these at the very bottom of the discussion board forums, where you can talk to each other. You can talk amongst yourselves and ask each other questions, get to know each other. While these are not graded, I do monitor them and I do provide some netiquette rules there. So just remember, if it's not considered appropriate in a real classroom, then it wouldn't be considered appropriate online either. The teacher's room is a similar forum where you can ask me questions. If you haven't found the answer elsewhere in the course, you can also, of course, email me. So finally, here are 10 important rules for success. Wake up, because this stuff will help you. So rule 1, there are no dumb questions. Smart people always ask questions. So when you have a question, try to find it through the weekly checklist, the facts section. If you can't find the answer there, email me or go to the teacher's room and ask me. Rule 2, read the announcements. So I'll post announcements when important things are coming up. They'll appear on the main page when you log into it. Be sure and read them. They'll also be sent to you as an annoying email. So make sure you're reading the emails and make sure to follow the weekly checklist. It's your responsibility to read and to keep up with all these things. Remember, the only way I have to get in touch with you is through email announcements, the weekly checklist, right? Show up virtually, that is. Remember, we're building a community of writers and thinkers, and the course depends on your online presence and active participation. And I can see everything you've done, everywhere you've been in the course, how much time you spent there, right? We can see that. We monitor that. And so not showing up, not completing the weekly activities from each weekly checklist can affect you adversely. Have RESPECT. Hopefully you heard Aretha Franklin sing about that. If you didn't, you should, because she was awesome. So you know the drill. Have respect for yourself, your colleagues, and me. And again, if it's an inappropriate, disrespectful comment, don't do it. Rule 5, don't plagiarize, don't cheat. All the essays are run through the Turnitin system to check for cheating, so don't do it. Rule 6, submit your assignments on time. The due dates for the major papers always fall generally on a Monday night at 11:59 p.m., but always adhere to the weekly checklist. Rule 7, be sure to watch the videos I post. It might get a little boring, but I'm going to give you tips that you're not going to get if you don't watch them. And it is a proven fact that students who watch the videos earn higher grades than the ones who don't. Rule 8, work hard. Anything in life worth having means hard work, good old-fashioned hard work, and that applies to school as well. Number 9, if I mess up, tell me. Respectfully, of course, and I probably will. I already messed up in this video once. I'm human. And so if you see there's some technological issue causing difficulty, there's a typo, there's a date that seems off, send me an email and let me know, and I will go the extra mile to fix it right away. Sometimes it might be my fault. Sometimes it might be Brightspace's fault, but I'll get it fixed for you. Rule 10, go to the cafe, get to know each other, and finally know I'm here for you. We're still in the midst of a really challenging, unprecedented time with this pandemic and with the Delta variant. So I'm going to maintain that strong sense of academic rigor. This is college, and we've got to do that. Otherwise, your degree wouldn't be worth 50 cents. But I'm also going to go the extra mile to work with you, to be kind to you, to be generous to you in all my interactions, and to help you along the way as much as I can at every step. So please do your part to ensure your own success too. So don't be nervous. You've got this. And don't be like the person who created that meme with that cute little kitty, not as cute as Princess Fufu, but cute. And forget the apostrophe, and don't, for goodness sake. So here's the actual reading schedule that goes along with the weekly checklist, but the weekly checklists are better, actually. And it says, note that the following syllabus is subject to change, but I rarely ever change anything on the syllabi. And I refer to the little seagull as LSH for short. So you can see what is actually due on week 1 and what the weekly checklist will actually say. You're going to read the course syllabus, read the paper 1 assignment sheet, read what is literature, read the elements of fiction. Those are all documents I posted for you. You're going to purchase your little seagull if you don't already have it, or the ebook version, or access the free ebook version. You're going to watch my videos, parts 1 and 2. You're going to post in the week 1 discussion board, getting to know you and tell me a story. And by the way, this week I'm going to give you through Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. to do both your initial postings and your response to a classmate. Since some people add the class late and I want to give them time to do that. But after that, the initial postings will always be due on a Wednesday night at 11:59 p.m. And also sign date and return to me your completed form at the very end of the syllabus, and it tells you how to do that when you get there. So guys, thank you for your immense amount of patience. Have a wonderful week, and be sure and watch part 2, which is much shorter than part 1. Thank God.